What happens when an overweight protester is screaming in the face of ICE agents that they could choose to do something different? Let's find out.
You can still choose to do something else. You want to be a veterinarian? You want to be a doctor? You can choose to eat a salad.
You could choose to eat a salad. ICE agents are now on a trend of hilariously talking back to protesters. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, corruption, and help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. So y'all know what ICE is doing. They're deporting people who are here illegally, and there are some pro-illegal immigration liberals that have been doing a lot of protesting, as you know. Protesting is perfectly in their rights. Some of it is turned rather violent. You can see some ICE agents getting attacked here by protesters. But I support someone's right to protest when it's lawful. It can be annoying, but it's at least lawful. It's a constitutional right. You can't hurt people, ladies and gentlemen, but you can protest. I stand by that. And admittedly, a lot of the protesters, even the lawful ones, they're annoying. So what I am loving is there's a trend of ICE agents who appear to just be fed up with it, and they start owning the protesters by making fun of them, saying these one-liners that just they rub me the right way. Let's take a look at a couple of them. First up, a protester, who I'm guessing identifies as a man, is staying within his rights of just talking to ICE agents, obnoxiously so, and it appears as though they get fed up. Let's take a look.
Here's your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Well, they didn't appreciate that. It struck me as funny because it's true, but it's also like a context you don't expect. You'd expect ICE agents to just, whatever, be above all that. And kind of honestly, I'm glad they're letting themselves have a little bit of slack. And one could surmise the protester that's yelling at him is most likely a liberal. Now, before we get to the next one, in this clip, one thing I don't understand, but I think I have a theory around it. You can see all the ICE agents are wearing masks, I guess, just to protect their personal identity, so they're not doxxed in their personal life. It's one thing, we're gonna come after you while you're doing your job, but let's keep it there. That's the playing field. So anyway, they cover their faces. But this guy, he's got something you don't expect. You know, pride flag colored face mask. And I do have a theory, because it's kind of like, I'm guessing he's not a very prideful guy. He's probably fairly conservative and doesn't actively promote Pride Month, amongst other things. But my guess is he was using that as repellent, kind of like how you put bug repellent on to repel bugs from annoying you. I'm guessing that was like liberal repellent. Like, let me appear to be one of them. So they go after my coworkers, throw them under the bus, but at least you've got the repellent on yourself. Now let's go to the other side of the political aisle for just a second. Here's a conservative who may or may not be intoxicated, I don't know, but he's in a hotel and he's trying to thank the ICE agents for what they're doing.
Oh. Hey, I love your work. Oh, they're not in here. I love what you guys are doing.
I appreciate patriotism, even when it's not effective patriotism. Now, the protests against these ICE agents, it's great, it's turned hilarious. We'll see another clip in a moment. But you have to think, like, are all these protests happening organically, or are they being organized? My guess is they're not only being organized, but they're being funded. This guy, we'll hear from in a second, he's calling in the troops. You can be the judge if he's being effective at helping organize people to stop ICE agents from doing their job. But to me, the more interesting part is who this guy is, which we'll take a look at after this clip. It might surprise you.
Look, man, this ICE bullshit needs to stop. But it's not just gonna magically disappear. We need to make it stop. We need to make it impossible for these dudes to do their job. Yes, they have power. We have power too. Legally, within our rights, we can make their job impossible.
I actually don't know if it's legally within one's rights to, well, make ICE agents' job impossible. That would mean you're stopping ICE agents from doing their job. You're inhibiting a part of the federal government. I don't I'm not a lawyer. I actually don't think that's actually super illegal. We'll get back to the video, but first, unless you're already independently wealthy and never have to work another day in your life, let me tell you about a game changer that I'm using personally, iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital is redefining access to digital assets with retirement and long-term wealth building solutions. That's great, but here's the deal. I care about my future in retirement, so I've had an IRA account with a traditional bank without very impressive growth, being honest. It's safe and secure, but it's never really excited me because you have a little interest working for you that's based on the value of the dollar. But inflation obviously works against that, and storing your value in US dollars is like holding an ice cube and watching it melt. Now, I've been a long-term believer in Bitcoin because it's inflation-proof, and I only see the value of it going up long-term. So when I learned that iTrust Capital offers fully compliant crypto IRA accounts, I said, I didn't know you could do that. And they said, yeah, you can. That's why we're here. And I said, you mean to tell me I can hold Bitcoin in my IRA account instead of US dollars? And they said, yes, along with 80 other cryptocurrencies and precious metals. I immediately transferred my existing IRA at my bank into my newly formed iTrust Capital IRA. And their US-based customer service was extremely helpful and made it easy because they're fully informed people who care. But I got even more excited. Here's why. Typically, when you're trading crypto, every single gain is a taxable event, but not when it's in your iTrust Capital IRA. For example, maybe you're like me and you're a believer in the long-term potential of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin hits, say, 125,000, within my account, I can sell some or all of my Bitcoin, convert that to US dollars, stays within my account, no taxes paid, and then I can use those dollars to buy back in at Bitcoin when it drops to, say, 90,000. Instead of a massive chunk being paid in taxes, that chunk stays in your account, working for you as an investment, giving you a beautiful compounding effect. iTrust Capital also offers premium custody accounts for non-retirement crypto trading with institutional level security. And that protects you from hacks, scams, and thefts that plague regular crypto exchanges. I took immediate action setting up my IRA with iTrust Capital because it makes sense to me. Maybe it does to you too. Check it out. Head to itrustcapital.com/JPSears and use promo code JPS8 for a $100 funding bonus. Now back to the video.
When the whole community came out, when everybody came out making noise, yelling, screaming, all of those things are within your right. I'm not advocating any kind of violence. Don't try to hurt these dudes. We need to make it so hard and so expensive for them to continue running their operation here in LA. They get the out. So if you're tired of seeing this shit, if you're tired of seeing innocent Latino people getting persecuted in the streets and you feel like you need to do something, now's your chance. We need patrols. We need to know where ICE is in the morning. We need to know where they're going. We need to know when they show up. We need to be able to make a crowd, get loud, get in front of them.
We need to be very organized. We need some more funding for this. Oh, sorry there. All right. We need to be very organized.
Ask them to identify themselves over and over and over again. Make their jobs impossible till they get the out of LA. This is our home. LA is ours. I'm a proud American, and I'm gonna use my American rights to make it impossible for these to do their.
Yeah, I don't know if it's American rights. And he's saying he's a proud American. LA is our home, and there's nothing to argue with on that point. LA is the home of Americans, and I get it. I mean, he's American, but he's of Latino descent, so I understand how he feels and why he feels that way, and totally get that. I don't know if it's legally within your rights to kind of do a coup against ICE agents. But if you're asking, well, who is that guy that's organizing these protests? Well, he's a comedian. That's funny. Marquez. He is a comedian, and I kind of surmise he's a liberal comedian. Here's a tweet of his from years ago. Father's Day, the one day a year where fathers are actually celebrated for the biggest mistakes they've made. Their kids. All right. Now, I'm not one to judge a comedian getting political, but nonetheless, he has got quite a Twitter presence with 26 followers. And he comes in even hotter on TikTok with 318 followers. He's in triple digits, ladies and gentlemen. Just so we know who's helping organize, let's take a look at some of his stand-up comedy on the topic of BLM.
During COVID, the big thing that happened was like the BLM movement. That was like huge, right? How many of you guys know BLM? Yes?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for BLM. Love it.
Taking note. No, it was hard for me because I have a sister who's a police officer. And trying to have that conversation about the BLM with the actual police officer is hard. Because like any police officer, they shut you down. They're always like, you don't know what it's like to be a police officer, so you can't have an opinion. And I was like, how do you win that argument? You know, I was like, yo, tell me what it's like. And she's like, being a police officer is the most difficult thing in the world. She's like, people are rude, they're dirty, they're disrespectful. She's like, one second you're doing your job, the next second you're fighting for your life. I was like, I don't know, because I have a friend who works customer service at Walmart.
So I think I love that he's out doing stand-up comedy, and I think his stand-up comedy is probably better than his political activism, but he's doing him. And lastly, here is a security guard with a Palestinian protester who probably doesn't know what the hell they're talking about with a megaphone in his face. He accuses her of culturally appropriating Palestine culture for being a white lady wearing this scarf, and I am here for it. She didn't see his perspective on it. Spoiler alert.
Appropriation. Yes, you are. By wearing a scarf that is trying to stop a genocide. You think that's appropriating a culture?
Yeah, it is. And by the way, liberals are the ones that invented cultural appropriation. It's just like, you know, if you're sitting there with feathers on your head, they'd say you're culturally appropriating Native American culture. So cultural appropriation is not something that concerns me. It presumably concerns her. And she is modeling it well. Doesn't quite see it, though. She loves that scarf.
Okay, in one way, how is that appropriating Palestinian culture?
I'm going to film you.
How is my wearing a keffiyeh appropriating Palestinian culture?
Okay.
You're the one who said it. You're the one who said I was appropriating Palestinian culture by wearing a keffiyeh scarf.
How's it appropriate? Like, because you just said it, because you're wearing it. I love it. And to me, the ICE agent, security guard, it's like they're doing what I do with my political stuff, but they're taking the show on the road. They're like in the streets, in the field, just doing it. And I would dare say, do more of it. One, I love to see it. And two, I would guess it's actually helpful for their sanity because it's got to be stressful. One, just doing their job doesn't look like an easy job. And two, when you have people in your face yelling, screaming, let alone if they get violent, throwing rocks at the people, that makes their stressful job even more stressful. And if there's one thing I've learned, what can help de-stress a situation is if you find a way to laugh at the situation. In this case, laugh at the people that are causing this situation to be more stressful. So I'm here for it, ICE agents. I salute your efforts to bring more comedy directed at the liberals that are screaming at you. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay free.